Hello everyone, I've made this video for people who may wonder how to introduce themselves during the IELTS exam, or if they are trying to pass an interview, or just they don't know what to say in those 3 or 4 sentences when they are trying to start any kind of conversation. So as you understand, today we are talking about introducing ourselves. Okay, I'm gonna give you some tips, I'm gonna give you some structures and vocabulary to introduce yourself when you are in an IELTS exam. By the way, there was the idea of Narmin, who asked me to make this video, so let's say thanks Narmin. So anyway, welcome to David the Teacher. I am David. We are starting now. When it comes to an IELTS exam, the examiner usually starts the conversation with a very basic question, which is, what is your name? And you know, and I know that they actually know your name because they have kind of a card in front of them with your name on it. And by asking that kind of a question, they actually try to be polite because it's kind of a standard of starting a conversation when you see a person for the first time. And of course you can say something like, why are you asking my name when I've never been interested in yours? Okay, it sounds wrong, isn't it? And you're right, because that kind of behavior can lead to a failure, and as a result the examiner won't go easy on you and will ask a lot of difficult questions during the speaking exam. So try to just follow some standard rules of our society for 15-20 minutes, and that's it. All right, but the second problem of students is they try to give some extravagant answers like, I was called by my parents as Michael. Let's say it that way. No, actually that is all right. This is correct, but I think that this is also a good way to confuse the examiner, because he or she actually waits from you very simple answer like, I'm David Lodman, or my name is David Lodman, or my full name is David Lodman, or I was called as David Lodman. All right, my name is, my full name is, I was called, or David Lodman. Means you just said your name, okay, and you used nothing with it. Or you can say, I am David Lodman. All right, after saying your name, I really recommend you to show that you are a friendly person. And in order to do that, the best way is to say that, for example, I am David Lodman, but you may call me Davo or David. Okay, you just give your nickname, or you just give your first name. Okay, you may call me Davo or David. Or instead of you may call me, you might say something like, please address me as. Please address me as, and you're gonna use your nickname, your first name, or the short form of your name after this expression. For example, please address me as Davo. Please address me as David. As you see, I've used the short form of my name or my first name. You also can use structures like, please call me by my name, or please call me by my first name. But after these guys, you don't give any names. For example, it's going to be, I'm David Lodman, but please call me by my name. Okay, I'm David Lodman, but please call me by my first name. I hope you noticed that after saying the phrase, please call me by my name, or please call me by my first name, I actually didn't repeat my first name, because it was obvious. I mean, my surname and my name was obvious when I said I am David Lodman. So everybody could understand that my first name is David and my surname, which is my family name, is Lodman. All right, so you don't need to repeat it. You just say I am, your first name and your surname, plus please call me by my first name, or please call me by my name. That's it. The next thing that examiners usually ask is about your habits. And I know that we people have a lot of habits, but I want you to keep it short, because if you try to describe all of your habits, damn, it will take a lot of time, and as a result of that, the examiner will interrupt you. So because of that, just try to keep it short. 2-3 sentences about it is enough. By the way, I made a fascinating video with full of advanced structures to describe your positive and annoying habits. So yeah, just go and check this video. Some curious examiners might ask you a question like, do you have a pet? Do you like animals? Or what is your favorite animal? And in my opinion, the best way to answer that kind of a question is to show some passion for animals and say something like, oh, I love, or oh, I adore dogs, cats, fish, etc., etc. So it depends on you. Or you can also say this one, I think I sometimes spoil the name, I don't know, I think I sometimes spoil Mickey because I adore him. Okay, I think I sometimes spoil the name because I love or I adore him or her. It depends on the gender of your pet. And after saying, oh, I love animals, you can add something like, and I have a dog, and I have a cat, or I have both. And it will look like, oh, I love animals, and I have a dog, and his name is Charlie. Okay? I also would like to mention that there are two main groups of people, and they are cat person and a dog person. So we actually can use these two expressions in our speech, in IELTS exam, or in just any conversation where the topic is pets. So we can say something like, oh, I love animals and I have one. His name is Charlie. By the way, I am a dog person, so Charlie is a dog. And try not to forget to mention the name of your pet. Also, the examiner or anybody might ask you about the breed of it. Okay, the breed. Okay, so what is it? If you have a dog, for example, and the person who you are talking to is interested in the breed of it, it means that that person wants to know, is your dog a Rottweiler, Pit Bull, I don't know, Bulldog, or a German Shepherd? And now you might ask, what am I gonna say if I don't have a pet? So it's actually okay if you don't have one. There are two options for you. The first option is you can use your imagination and make up a story about an imaginary pet, because believe me, nobody's gonna check it. Nobody's gonna visit your house to check that do you have a pet or you do not. And it's definitely not gonna be like, knock knock, open the door, this is the examiner. You don't have a pet. You lied to us, so you are going to get the lowest band. No, it's not gonna be like that. Believe me, they don't care actually. Yeah, you can make up a lot of stories during this IELTS exam, and even if you say that you have a lion at home, you can say that I have a lion at home and his name is Richard. If you want, let's go and let's check him. But the second option is just say the truth and say something like, I am not really a pet person. I am not really a pet person. Or you might say something like, I'm allergic to animals. I'm allergic to animals. As to me, it's not the best option because it means that you are allergic to all animals, which is impossible in my opinion. But again, it's up to you. If you want, you can use it. Or you might also say something like, I don't have enough time to afford an animal. I don't have enough time to afford an animal. Based on my experience, the examiner might ask you about your hometown. And when it comes to hometown, in my opinion, the best way to give a proper answer is to have some relevant vocabulary. And I still want you to keep in your mind that your answer should be short and you should follow 3 questions. The first question is, where is it? So you should just describe the location of your hometown. And the second question is, what is it noun for? So here you should just describe maybe the famous tradition of your country or some popular landmark, right? And the third question is advantages and disadvantages of your hometown. And now I'm going to give you my answer, then we are going to analyze it. For example, I'm from New York, which is in the mouth of Hudson River in southeastern New York State. When people think about my hometown, first of all, the Statue of Liberty comes to their minds. And of course, then the well-known Empire State Building. One of big pros of living in New York is job opportunities. However, the most annoying thing about the city is an endless noise. And this is due to bars and clubs that work until 4 in the morning. So it seems like the city never sleeps. So that was my short answer where I told you about the location of my hometown. Then I told you what is it noun for, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. Then I told you about the advantages and disadvantages of living in New York when I mentioned about the job opportunities and the endless noise. And now let's look at the vocabulary that I used in my answer. The first one is well-known. Well-known is a synonym of the words like famous and popular. The second one is pros. Do you remember the sentence when I said big pros of living in New York is? This is the word pros, which is a synonym of the word advantages. But what is the opposite of the word advantages? It is disadvantages. And the synonym of the word disadvantages is cons. Cons. So we usually say pros and cons. Also, I use the collocation like job opportunities. Job opportunities. Here, opportunity means like a chance. And when I say job opportunities, it's like when you have a chance to find a work. Job opportunities. I also use the word annoying. Annoying. Instead of using the word disadvantages of living in the city of New York, I said annoying, which is a synonym of the word irritating. Irritating, okay? So annoying, irritating, they both mean the same thing, which is something that makes you angry. And the last one is due to. Due to. And I actually used it as a synonym of because of in my sentence. And I did it because of is a very common phrase, so I replaced it with due to. Okay? Due to. Try to use it in your speech as well. The examiner might ask you about your works and studies. And if you want to be prepared for this question, you might be interested in my another video where I'm giving you a lot of structures to talk about not only your works and studies, but also about your responsibilities at work, degree, and so on. So yes, just go and check it. If the examiner asks you about your home, you can use some structures and vocabulary that I'm going to give you. So let's start, and my first answer is I live in a house or flat. And I love my home because it's cozy or homely. And wherever I go, I'm looking forward to coming back at the end of the day. Let me repeat it. I live in a house or flat. And I love my home because it's cozy or homely. And wherever I go, I'm looking forward to coming back at the end of the day. If you live alone, you may also say, I've been living on my own or by myself since, and after that you're going to use the point of time in the past, or for a period of time. Okay? For example, I've been living on my own since 2018. Or I've been living by myself for last 4 years. Alright? So as you see, you can use since or for, on my own, or by myself. But if you are living with some friends, you may also say something like, I share my house with your friend's name. For example, I share my house with Francis, okay? And we have been living together for 5 years, for 6 years, okay? So let me repeat it. I share my house with Francis and we've been living together for 5 years. And if you live with your parents, you can also say something like, I stay permanently, or I'm staying temporarily in my parents' house where I feel the familiar, safe feeling of being at home. Okay, let me repeat it. I stay permanently, or I'm staying temporarily in my parents' house where I feel the familiar, safe feeling of being at home. It's actually a great answer to say, I think. I hope that you know the difference between these two, guys, house and flat. Briefly, if it's a building, it's a flat. If it's not a building, then it's a house. Okay? So if you live in a building, then you live in a flat. All right? So now let's go to the next two words. These are cozy and homely. Cozy means small but comfortable. Homely means ordinary but still pleasant. Then these two expressions, on my own and by myself. In my context, they meant the same thing, without anybody, alone. Next two words are since and for. So we use since and for mainly with perfects, present perfect, past perfect, present perfect continuous, and so on. So with since, we need a point of time in the past. For example, since 2009, since 2011, I don't know, since 1995, all right? But with for, we need a period of time, for 5 years, for 3 years and 2 months, and so on. And the last two words are adverbs. These are permanently, permanently, and temporarily. Temporarily. Permanently means always, usually, for a long time, but temporarily means for a while. So, unfortunately, guys, this is the end. And in this video, I gave you some vocabulary and structures to describe yourself, say your name differently, and to answer some basic questions about your hometown, home, and so on. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the bell button, and like this video. And of course, I'm going to see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye bye.